What up, people? Hotep Jesus. We back with another Hotep conversation. I'm your host, Hotep Jesus. Issa G, appreciate you. First one to super chat. Oh baby, the show is getting started. Welcome, people. Oh man, Jabari always is showing love. Shout out to Jabari of Judah. He said, yeah, baby, afternoon education class in session. Yes, class is in session. So you already know what the deal is. I'm going to need y'all to go to Twitter or hit the share button on this. Hit the Twitter button. Tag me on Twitter. Throw a nice little snazzy caption on that thing and share the link. I don't even care if you lie. You say, hey, y'all, I'm watching this in my movie theater in my penthouse apartment. Tell them you got 10 homies over and y'all all watching the show right now. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, Hotep Nation, you know what time it is. Hotep Nation, we are dedicated to promoting homeschooling, making homeschooling popular, removing all the taboos. We're going to market, we're going to brand it, we're going to make it the thing next year, 2022. A lot of people have already been helping. I think we have like maybe up to 20 or something like that, maybe 19, 20 on the donation, people donating. We're transferring people from Patreon over to the Hotep Nation. We're getting rid of Patreon. We're cutting out a couple of middlemen. There's still a couple of middlemen around, but it's okay. Patreon, best of luck to you. But we're going to start to transition away from that to Hotep Nation. HotepNation.com/donate. If you guys want to help us with our homeschooling mission, please donate at HotepNation.com/donate. We have incredible people helping us out with this, people who have raised kids through the homeschooling system, and they're very thorough, taking no BS, and they want to make sure this thing is right. So I'm happy that they're as passionate about this as I am. This wasn't even my idea. This is Dawn Hotep's idea. Our coordinator, shout out to her. But she put this thing together. She came to us with 3 great ideas. We saw that one, the homeschooling initiative, and we were like, wow, yeah, that's it. That's perfect. Because, we love to educate people here on the channel, and Hotep Nation in general. If you think Hotep, first thing you got to think is knowledge. Matter of fact, let's put y'all up on some real Hotep. Tanei, you remember Clarence 13X and Supreme Mathematics?
How can you forget? Yes, sir.
I'm about to show the white folks Supreme Mathematics. Just so niggas know how. So basically what it is, it's a numerology, right? It's a numerology sort of wisdom. I don't know. I'll just show you. Right here, boom. So right here you see it says number 1, knowledge. That's paramount to Hotep. That's tantamount to Hotep. Knowledge, the number 1 represents knowledge in Supreme Mathematics. So when you talk about being Hotep, that's where we start at. So when people ask you, what is Hotep, you can run down the Supreme Mathematics, Clarence 13X and them. You can run that down, 5% Nation. You can run that down, say, yo, look, because I wouldn't argue with nothing in there. And
it's wild too. Huh? It's wild too because right now the 5% ideology is playing out in real time. You see the 85s, the 5s, and the 10s kind of going against each other now. So
yes, exactly. So that's our mission, homeschooling. You know what time it is. So yeah, basically what it is, so people know what we're going to be doing. Basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be printing out some pamphlets and then distributing these pamphlets to individuals who are interested in it. And basically these pamphlets are going to be double-sided. It's a lot of information. Let me just tell you, that's a lot of information to try to get on one sheet, but we've made it happen. the funny thing is, the most interesting thing about the homeschooling situation, how we're setting it up is, and what's unique, because having somebody here who has that knowledge and who has done this before, actually homeschool successful children, 5 of them, having them there, she understands the difference between how children learn. So not everybody in the homeschool system is taught the same. Everybody's taught based upon their learning style to optimize learning. So that's what makes this program unique. So shout out to our team. I appreciate them. Anyway, let's get into that topic, man. Let's get into the topic. A new Ninja Turtle came out. This one is called the IHU. I'm gonna bring this up on the screen. We're gonna read this article. Let's see. So first of all, let's look at my cookies, right? So I've been looking for premium teas. So I'm getting these teas. And some people say, hey, why don't you have the ad blockers on? And I'm like, the ads make my life better. I was shopping. Show me. I'll give you a good hack. Whenever I'm like shopping for something, I'll go to websites and start shopping. And then like go to Instagram. I'll go to Instagram and then watch people's stories, and Instagram will show me ads, or I'll swipe the feed and Instagram is showing me ads based upon that because of cookies, retargeting, so on and so forth. All these people are, vying for the same keywords that we're typing in these search engines, and it makes my life better. A lot of y'all be buying from drop shipping stores. Shit come from China. If you just wait a few seconds and wait for an ad to pop up, you find out where it come from in China and get it cheaper. Because the thing is with the drop shipping thing is the dude that's selling it to you also has a store and he's undercutting your price. So you better make sure you can get it off of your price. Anyway, enough life hacks. Something dangerous and threatening. It says, how threatening is the new IHU variant of the SARS remix? And it says this strain of the SARS remix, part 2, carries the N501Y mutation. Now, we're going to get into that. I'm just going to read the article. Shout out to Dr. Tanei Ricks. If you guys are not familiar with Dr. Tanei Ricks, please get familiar. His info is in the box below. He's been on this platform before. If you haven't seen those, then you have to go watch them. Right after this, you have to go watch them because there's a lot of information we're going to cover today that we've already covered. And we want to make sure you have that foundation of knowledge. But he is a PhD organic chemist and doctor on site. Let's go into this. So it says here, while the world is pulling in resources to fight back against the Omarion said we can't use his name no more. So I don't know. I'm gonna call it the Megatron. The Megatron Ninja Turtle of the SARS remix. Scientists have detected a relatively new one called the IHU. IHU, that's what I'm calling it. This is the IHU. The IHU Ninja Turtle. Or, now this is where you got to help me out. It says B.1.640.2. What the hell is that?
So that's really just the naming convention that they have for it. They use the numbers to indicate different variants, any kind of differences that pop up between the different Ninja Turtles. They just designate them with these numbers. It's just a regular naming system.
Oh, it's a model number. Okay.
Yeah, it's more or less. Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess this kind of works like computers, where like there's a 1.5 and this is 1.6, so they're sequential. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because you basically want to be able to track the evolution through a tree.
Right.
I mean that's basically how they use it, is to track the evolution.
Got you. So it says it was first detected in southern France last month and has now begun catching the attention of global experts. Detected by researchers at the Marseille-based Mediterranean Infection University Hospital, aka IHU. There are 46 Ninja Turtles of this one. God damn. This is leading to the fear that the IHU could be more resistant to existing vacations. Now, y'all done went on vacation. Some of y'all double dip, triple dip. And you still ain't safe.
trying to get y'all in on 4 too, man. The memes are coming true. The memes are coming true.
Listen, y'all. This is what's going down. They're gonna put y'all on a subscription plan. I shouldn't say y'all. They're gonna put the sheep on subscription plans, and sheep gonna look at their subscription plan just like they've been looking at their subscription plan for previous vacations for themselves and their children. So they've already been trained to do this. Don't act like you haven't been trained to do this. You've been trained to do this because they have something called a schedule. When your child goes to whatever, they say, let me see your vacation schedule. So you're already trained to do this. This time, they're going to make you pay for it. This ain't going to be, no, you're going to pay for it, or it's going to come out of your UBI, your Universal Basic Income, okay? Or they might package it in. But this is what they're going to do. They're going to put you on a subscription plan, and you're going to get your 1-2 doses a year, whatever they got for you, whatever you're stupid enough to sign up for. They might hit you with 4 in a year. You got to come back every quarter. You know, knowing y'all sign up for this shit. Inside of the Ages said, this feels like the whole world has become their laboratory. Ben. So it says here, this is leading to fear that the IHU could be more resistant to existing vacations.
Oh, man.
Ninja Turtles just disrespecting the vacation, bro. Talk to me about this, man. Let's go back to the normal screen. Y'all, we're going to come back and read the article in a second. Tell me why are there now 46 Ninja Turtles and these people that took the vacation and that don't matter?
Man, so, all right, so the mutations themselves, like a lot of them, and you know, because they've been talking a little bit more today about just how much they are worried about it and what it means for everybody. And a lot of them really are trying to dispel, you know, any kind of fear, anything that's coming out by saying that this one predates Omarion or Megatron. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't picked up yet, so we don't really see a reason why it would pick up. But I've said this before, especially on Twitter. I've said that you have, because of the nature and the pressure that this that SARS Remix is being put under, you're going to have a lot of different Ninja Turtles that you don't even know about. And a lot of them are going to have loss of what we call loss of function mutations, because every time you select for something, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to select for something that still makes the virulence traits functional. So basically what they're seeing here is, yeah, it might have 46 mutations, but if only, you know, one of those mutations actually matters, then the other 46 are bumped, because, I mean, those could just be structural mutations. And if you know about amino acid chemistry, a lot of these, depending on what kind of class of amino acids you have, it's not going to change a lot. Like you might have some structural changes, but the big ones that you want to look at, especially, are like electrostatic changes, and whether or not some, like the way that, you know, like acids and bases, things like that, the way that they interact with each other, because you have some that are neutral, you have some that are charged. And, you know, when you have those things interacting with each other, for the most part, if it's something that's structurally similar, it's not going to be a big deal. But the big things you want to look out for is when they change class. When they change class, that means it's a whole different interaction that's happening. The 46 mutations they're talking about, there's only 2 of them that they really focus in on. So, I mean, the other 44 could just be structural adaptations that still give the spike function, but at that time when it was replicating, it might have just skipped over something, or it might have put in something too fast. And, you know, like it's almost like if, like, say you're writing something and you find a typo. Mm-hmm. That's what that mutation could be. Mm. It could just be a molecular typo, and it doesn't, and you can still read the sentence, but you know there's a typo there. That's essentially what can happen with some of these mutations.
I got you. That makes sense. You keep using this word select. They're selecting. Who's selecting, and what is being selected, and what does selection mean?
So the selection, basically, we're talking about when the proteins themselves are being constructed, the codes that are put together to actually transcribe the protein. So you can select for different amino acids when you're constructing the protein. Like I said, depending on what kind of class of amino acid it is, it's going to give it different changes. It could be a structural change. A lot of them typically are structural changes because proteins themselves typically only have maybe there's a very few amount of residues that actually matter as far as the biological activity. A lot of the amino acids are structural, so they give the protein their shape. So there's only a handful of proteins that actually do some kind of biochemical process. The other ones are just there to provide shape, provide structure, provide support for the other amino acids that are doing your biochemical transformation. So
bones and muscles, basically.
Not necessarily bones and muscles.
But I mean, as far as relating it to the function of these things, the bones are the structure of the body.
Right, exactly,
the
exactly.
Carry out some of the
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, in that way, that would be very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Jason Rose, appreciate you said, what Foot Clan can you take to battle the Ninja Turtles if you don't want to go on vacation?
Oh man, I mean the Knack Foot Clan is always good. We were actually gonna do this episode yesterday, but I told Hotep I was kind of feeling under the weather a little bit. I mean, and you know, I gotta say, what today is, what, Wednesday? Mm-hmm. I gotta say, like Sunday night, I started kind of feeling a little bad. Mm-hmm. So in like the past 2 days, I've taken 20 grams of vitamin C, 100 milligrams of zinc, herbal detox teas, and some. I took 3 grams of glucosamine and chondroitin, 400 milligrams of alpha lipoic acid, and I think that's it. And I'm back to feeling normal within 2 days. So like a lot of this stuff, you don't even need, these vacation packages. If you just have the knowledge of, what modulates your immune system and what actually helps, then you're gonna be good. And that's SARS remix, cold, flu, whatever. Like as long as you support your immune system, you know how to support it, you're gonna be good.
Mm. Yeah, we're gonna talk about my aunt Flurona in a second. Florina Williams. We're gonna talk about her. That's Tanaz.
The Florina Williams.
The Florina Williams. Cannon Hotep said salute. Just dropped a video on this. Make sure y'all check out Cannon's. Make sure
shout out to Cannon, man. Cannon always be bigging me up, man. Shout out to that brother. I fuck with him in a major way. I appreciate you.
Yeah. We about to shoot the movie too. He already started shooting some clips. That shit funny as hell. So it says here, let me go back. Let's go back to the article. Put that on the screen. Boom, boom. It says, where was IHU detected? It says at least 12. Now, a lot of people don't know about 12 being one of those numbers. People, when you get deep into the internet, when people start talking about these events, they start looking at the numerology. This 12 is one of the numbers, and that 12 months and, so on and so forth. Where else does 12 appear? It's ubiquitous. We see it everywhere. So 12 people have been found infected with the IHU and Marseille. Okay, thank you. Then they always like to throw Africa in there. Leave us alone. They've been linked with having traveled to Africa.
Bro, they be sprinkling Africa and this shit like parsley, dog. Like every time you got some bullshit going, let's sprinkle a little Africa over here, dog. That'll get everybody going. They'll definitely believe that shit then, because all the bad shit come out of Africa, right? Yeah. It's like that Dave Chappelle special, just sprinkle some crack on them and let's just get about it
here. God damn, leave my people alone. I know y'all made this shit in goddamn China. Anyway, the researchers have mentioned that the first Ninja Turtle was detected in an adult from a small town in southern France, diagnosed with the SARS remix, with one of them PCR tests. All right, so let's go down here. So here, we said we were going to come back to this. IHU was detected December 10th. And it says here N501Y mutation. Now, this ain't no beta variant. This is an alpha. This is an alpha. N501Y. What does this mean, Mr. Ricks?
All right.
Dr.
So
Ricks.
when you have a letter, number, letter, that typically denotes an amino acid change. So the letter that's on the left is the original amino acid. The number is the position of the residue. So the position, obviously, there's a bunch of different amino acids that go into a protein. Mm-hmm. So when you chop that protein up, you basically lay it out first. And as you chop it up, then you start to designate numbers for where the amino acids appear. So you got one position, 2 position, 10 position, 200 position, so on and so forth, depending on how big your protein is. The letter that's on the end is the amino acid that it's changed to. So amino acids are named 3 different ways. You have your full name, you have a 3-letter abbreviation, and you have a 1-letter abbreviation. Mm-hmm. So the 1-letter abbreviation is typically used in these to denote amino acid mutation. Mm-hmm. So N is asparagine. So the original amino acid that was at position 501 was asparagine. It mutated to tyrosine. Tyrosine is Y. So this is interesting because asparagine, I do believe, is a basic amino acid residue, while tyrosine is actually an aromatic amino acid residue. So in layman's terms, you're going to have a charge difference. So a positive and negative charge is basically changing. So if you have a basic molecule, more likely it's going to have a negative charge on, or excuse me, when it is in the body, it's going to have a positive charge. Yeah. When you have something that is an acidic amino acid residue, typically in the body, it has a negative charge because it loses that proton, and your base comes by and snatches it up. So you have a very big electrostatic change. Well, I'm not going to say very big, but you have an electrostatic change from changing from asparagine and changing that amino acid to tyrosine. The other difference that's here too is the size. So the side chain, so I don't know how many people know a lot about amino acids, but amino acids have a very specific makeup. And the thing that changes is what we call a side chain. So depending on the side chain, that's how we name amino acids. So with asparagine has a basic side chain, and tyrosine has a phenolic side chain. That also creates a structural difference where the side chain on tyrosine is bigger than the side chain that's on asparagine. So you have an electrostatic change, and you also have a steric change, which means you have a space change and you have a charge change. And those things have very big impacts on how the protein functions. And so now they're saying this with the alpha variant, they're saying that this can make it more transmissible. So you have another mutation here, the E484K. So
wait, where's that one?
That one says, so it says the researchers found that it also carries the E484K mutation, which can mean that the variant will be more resistant to your current vacation packages. So this change is also interesting too, because E, I do believe, is glutamic acid. Yeah, it's glutamic acid, and K is lysine. So you have an acidic amino acid mutating into a basic amino acid. So your charge is completely flipped. So instead of having something that will have a negative charge typically inside of the body at physiological pH, you have something that is positive at physiological pH. So that's a 180 charge differential. So whatever electrostatic interaction was there is now different because you have something that did have a negative charge but now has positive charge. So let's say for the sake of argument that you have something close by that has a positive charge. Well, if you change from negative to positive, you're going to have a charge repulsion. So they're going to push away from each other. So if you have something that's nearby that has the same charge, they're going to repel each other. If you have something that's nearby that has an opposite charge, they're going to want to attract to each other. That's how a lot of your proteins work inside your body. A lot of people don't know that that's how hemoglobin works. So hemoglobin works on acid-base chemistry as well. So these changes, even though they seem very small, have very big impacts because they change how the spike interacts with everything else that's around it, including itself.
Did y'all get that? Do you have your notepads out? Are you taking notes? Curtis said 12 hours on the clock, 12 disciples, 12 zodiac signs. Exactly. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That's why I didn't continue, because thank you. You know, the chat, y'all on point, man. One time for the chat. You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady wears number 12. Yeah. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Keep your kufi on tight, but not too tight. Just as researchers have published a paper on December 29th. Now, this is another interesting number. If you add 9 plus 2, you get 11. 11 is a master number in numerology. And let's continue. The study is yet to be.
Oh, man.
Let's just breeze on past. Says the study is yet to be peer reviewed. Okay. It, however, said IHU has 46 Ninja Turtles and 37 deletions. What the hell is a deletion?
So just like you can add new amino acids into a protein structure, you can also delete them. So if it has 46 mutations, 37 deletions, so that means that 37 amino acids were deleted from this particular protein.
Interesting. These, you know, I'm sorry, we're about to sidebar here. We have to segue really fast. We're going to come right back to the article, and we have another Washington Post article we're going to take a look at on Flurona in a second, Flurona Williams in a second. But Tanei, as you speak, I just can't help but to think I'm living inside of a video game. It just sounds like computer language. You're mentioning things like deletions and code and virus. And I'm just like, am I living in the Matrix? Where do you stand on this, sir? I know you're a man of God. Praise be to the Most High. I am too.
Yes, sir.
But don't you ever wonder about simulation theory and if we're actually in a video game?
And you know what, man? Maybe the simulation is God. Who knows?
Right.
I mean, it's funny because like me and some of my coworkers had some like little existential conversations earlier, you know, because I talk to them all the time, and you know, they know I have some theories that are not, you know, particularly mainstream. You know, like I don't believe, you know, we ever been on the moon, all kinds of shit. But I mean, there's evidence that makes me believe that, you know. So it's just like, you know, when you look at these things and you see what people are trying to tell you, and then you start to see how language, you know, goes from place to place, but it's still conveying the same message. Especially when you talk about like numbers, like everything in the universe is based on patterns. It's based on numbers. Like at the end of the day, we are like numbers put together. Like everything that we do, everything that we have, everything that is a physical representation of something, you can break it down into a number. You can break it down to a mathematical pattern. And all of these things, even with fractals, like we look at fractals all the time, those are geometric and mathematical patterns. Everything in the universe is a pattern. Everything follows an order. Everything follows structure.
Sir, teach, what the fuck is a fractal?
Okay, so fractals, I mean, the easiest way to explain a fractal, have you ever looked at a snowflake?
Yes.
You know how like it has like these intricate shapes, but they always seem to manifest in the same pattern?
Yeah.
That's a fractal. That's more or less. So
basically what you're saying, fractal is another name for a pattern, a particular pattern?
More or less, yeah.
But they're just unique to those type of patterns.
And most of the time it's unique to nature. Like you see a lot of fractal patterns in nature, especially with like, so the obvious example is a tree root system, a snowflake, and blood vessels. If you look at how they form, they all and rivers and tributaries. So when you look at how they form on the earth, they all more or less look the same, but they all branch out in what people think is random ways, but they're mathematically arranged in that way. So you have this repeating pattern, but it's also translating from the macro to the micro and in reverse. Because you look at blood systems, you look at the circulatory system, when it starts to branch out, it looks like a tree root system, which also looks like rivers and tributaries and like how they flow through the land. So everything comes back from the macro to the micro and in reverse. So I mean, that's basically, when you look at fractals, they kind of describe that too.
Yeah, when you look at a snowflake, that fractal pattern you're speaking of, you look at the snowflake fractal, it's just beautiful. It's marvelous. It's breathtaking when you really sit down and think about how perfect it is, and that man didn't create that.
Exactly. It formed on its own. And but see, that also shows that everything in this realm wants to be organized. Everything, people think that these things happen randomly. It's like, no, there is a rhyme and a reason to how things happen. And this a lot of these things tend to follow the same rules, the same patterns, because they reinforce structure, they reinforce order. If you want, I ain't gonna get into the numerology on that, but the 4s and the 5s have a big significance here, especially with us being in the physical realm, and 4 is the number of order. So when you start talking about, 4 corners of the earth, 4 cardinal directions, so on and so forth, you live in a physical plane. So in that physical plane, everything is based on order and structure. So if you have order and structure, and you have these things, then things are going to form on their own according to that structure and according to those rules and according to that law.
Bars. This is what Hoteps do. Yeah, I think we also watch Dragon Ball Z and anime and shit, but this is what we do. This is things we talk about. A lot of Shine is talking about spook ball and plantation ball. That one's for Uncle Hotep.
Not spook ball. I ain't heard spook ball. That's a good one.
Jabari, appreciate you. You said fast and mutating V runs in human history. Yeah, these things is mutating quick, boy. Real quick, I got Gothics coming on this Friday. I just locked that in. That's going to be an amazing conversation. Hold on, I got another announcement for you. I might just make this Ladies Month. That's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling right now. This just might just be Ladies Month. We might just start the year off with Black women. We got Kim Klasick coming on next week. So make sure y'all tune in, subscribe right now. Please subscribe. I've got some crazy conversations coming up. If y'all didn't catch, hold on, I'm gonna bring one up that y'all need to catch. And if you didn't catch, like, you missed the best conversation of 2021, especially as far as the future of the world is concerned. But it's this one right here. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen right now. This one right here, this is the one with Web3 and NFTs. As a matter of fact, let me go back a screen. You'll see it in blue right here, Web3. All of my interviews will have blue from now on. So you see that one right there. It says Web3 in the thumbnail. Watch that one. Mind blowing, especially if you want to know about tech, Bitcoin, Jack Dorsey, Zuckerberg. Just amazing conversation. You need that in your life. Anyway, let's get back to the program. All right, boom. So yeah, like, dude, come on. The order, right? The order of things. It's very exquisite. It was, it had me captivated in my younger years, to the point where I wasn't getting any work done. I was too busy studying like nature.
I mean, if you look at it though, you were doing work because you're understanding yourself. The more you understand the things that are outside of you, the more it brings you a deeper understanding of yourself.
You're absolutely right about that. I would not trade those years for anything except for some Bitcoin. People ask me, People used to ask me, if you can go back and change anything, would you change anything? My answer was always no. I'm like, no, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm too afraid that I might go back and just mess some shit up and I'm worse off than I am now. So I'm like, no, I'm good right where I'm at right now. I'm in a good place, right? Just leave me alone, all right? But then when they said it now, I'm like, well, there is one thing.
Yo, but to be fair, when Subway started taking Bitcoin as currency, like, I ain't gonna lie, I thought that shit was a joke, bro. I'm just like, okay,
yeah,
Bitcoin is currency.
Yeah, right. I slipped
now
on
look
that.
At
one.
us.
Look at us over here begging for money on the internet. Yeah, I got a few shekels for a lecture.
Oh man, the grift never stops.
The grift never stops, man. Let's go back to the article. All right, so we talked about the mutations, what they mean. Things are getting deleted. People are tweeting. All right, let's go to what is it? On Flurona Williams. We're gonna go to this Flurona Williams article. There's some interesting things here as well. So let's pull that Flurona. We can go with a Flurona, and the language in this article is hilarious. Like writers must be stopped. Like we need to stop. All right, so here the emotional play using women. She's obviously coughing with her mask on and into her arm. I'm sure she looks like she's social distance, and she's definitely triple jabbed. So this was written by Jennifer Hassan, 10:17 a.m. Eastern time, updated about 5 minutes thereafter. 5 minutes thereafter. All right. 6, sorry. New year, new Rona term. Jennifer is a troll. Jennifer Hassan is the individual who wrote this. She starts it off with New Year, new Rona term. Are you serious? Anyway, she's given this job to write this article. And in this next paragraph, it says here, doctors have long been concerned about the potential impact of a twin-demic. Yo, these socialists just sit in a room. They get high. And they just think of different ways to just fuck with us. And I swear the powers that be are trolling us.
Man, it's so funny. It's like, man, what can we get these motherfuckers to go for today? It's so funny too. You know what this shit remind me of? I know you watched the Boondocks, right?
Cool.
You remember the episode, the BET episode, with Wedgie Rutland, and they were basically talking about how they were gonna poison the black community using like BET and shit. And the lady that was running the network was like, Wedgie, what are we doing to fuck up niggas' money today? I'm just like, bro, what? Like, what is this? So fucking wild. I swear that this is what they doing too, man. Shit is so funny to me, man. It's so fucking funny to me.
Oh my God. Dominic Mills says, just paying my tuition. I'll catch the replay. I'm late. Welcome. Let me segue into what he just said there. He said, just paying my tuition. I'll catch the replay. I'm late. One time I was late to class, a college course. And I was very much a grown man at this point. I was 20, 21 maybe. But I had already I paid for that course, out of my own pocket. My mama didn't pay for this. This course I actually paid for. This semester I paid for out of my pocket. My mom didn't pay for it. And I showed up to class late. And I sat down. The teacher said, yo, you late. I was like 2 minutes late. It wasn't even that bad. And I'm like, what? Now I'm thinking about my money. I'm like, nigga, I pay for this class. I'll tell you when you're late. And the whole class was like, oh. And he was like, all right, settle down. And he shut the fuck up and he taught the class. But how you gonna be mad at somebody for some shit you paid for? Like, nigga, I paid for this. If I feel like coming out late, I'm gonna come late, bitch. I paid for this shit. You getting paid, ain't you? Me coming late ain't gonna change shit. I used to hate when teachers did that shit. And he says he's late. You're more than welcome to be late, especially when you're paying your tuition. You're not paying your tuition. You better have your ass. If it's free, no, you better have your ass in your seat on time. You know what I mean? But anyway.
I don't need, man, when I'm teaching, man, I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't care if people show up late. If you show up late, just don't come in making a lot of noise. Like, man, you're an adult. Like, whatever you want to do with your free time outside of my class, I do not care. But just don't come to my class making a whole bunch of noise.
Word. So all right, let's get into it. Let's get back to the article. This shit is too funny, man. This shit is too funny. Appreciate the super chat, Don Mills. Also, Dane Digital Cash App me. Cash App is better because I get 100% of that instead of the 30% to YouTube. My calls are down another 5% today. That bet is gone. Anyway. Am I on the screen? Yeah, we are. Okay, so it says Flurona Williams.
The Flurona Williams.
So what they're basically saying is, so all right, let me read the article. Two young women got pregnant. Two young pregnant women tested positive for the SARS remix and influenza in Israel.
Why is shit always coming out of Israel?
Moving right along.
My bad. I'm sorry. I was wild for that. I'm sorry.
Shalom, and kosher, all of that.
I'm sorry.
Many local and global media outlets dubbed it Flurona Williams in the headlines. The Sun, a British tabloid, swiftly branded the co-infection double trouble. Oh my God. At least the tabloid got a sense of humor. Because I'm surprised they didn't use that headline. I mean, you called it a twin-demic. How are you going to say a British tabloid swiftly branded it double? Come on. Like, you basically called it the same thing. You just didn't get the double trouble first.
Exactly.
Is this the one that talks about the vacations? Is this article? Because I just want to jump to that one. That one's hilarious. All right, so it says in Houston, a teenager spent Christmas Day isolating after contracting the double trouble, and and here it is, Alec Zierlein. I don't know how to say that. Definitely German, or Eastern European, who had been vacationed against the Rona, but not the flu. Again, got bumped up, still ain't safe. Sorry. But was also tested for strep throat, but results confirmed he had only the former two infections, which he described as being like a mild cold. That's what he said. It felt like a mild cold. Right? Double trouble felt like a mild cold. He told ABC News he's not aware that SARS remix could stack up one on top of the other. Oh my fucking God. I'm about to throw my computer across the room. Can you explain to me what the hell they're talking about here? This sounds like some bullshit now. This is just my common sense speaking. But you're the science guy. Am I wrong? Are they right?
No,
what's going on here?
You ain't got to go no farther than common sense because that's all it is, man. And it's like, and this kind of, well, let me just address the first thing. Y'all can't even tell us that we in a pandemic because these damn tests don't work the way that y'all use them. So y'all can't even say that anything is even happening because y'all data not accurate. So how can you even sit here and say that the Flurona Williams is something you even got to worry about if we don't even know that SARS remix is something we got to worry about? Because y'all done inflated the numbers so damn much and they counted all these excess deaths as SARS remix deaths. We don't know how many people are actually dying from this or how many people are actually getting or having these symptoms because of this. Like, there are going to be some people that have SARS remix and that's why they sick, but we don't know how many because these tests are not accurate. That's the first thing. So even let's take that out the argument. Let's just say that the tests are 100% accurate, right? So this verifies what we've been saying what I've been saying the whole entire time is that people that are let me not say verify. This presents strong evidence for things that I have researched on my own. That people that contract SARS remix are not dying from SARS remix. They're dying from secondary complications and secondary infections. And if they're now saying that you can have the SARS remix and the flu at the same time, that basically says, okay, whatever is weakening your immune system, in this case, SARS remix, is also allowing other things to come in and infect you, get you sick as well. And that's where the majority of the problems are coming from, besides the comorbidities and stuff like that. So, and it's interesting too, because they kind of warned about this, that this might happen. There's a possibility this happened when they stopped. Well, I guess they stopped tracking, but they started talking about how the flu cases last year went down. Like there was a, it
took a year off.
Flu took a year off, right? So they kind of warned that the next year the flu cases might actually be worse because there are less people in the population. It means there are less people getting sick, which means that there are less people that have immunity to XYZ strains of the regular flu at any given point in time, which is the same argument that I've been making for SARS remix and why people should not be getting vacation, because the herd immunity waxes and wanes. You're going to have a part of the population that's seroconverted, have their antibodies, have their natural immunity, that wears off for a little bit. What is it, like 6 to 9 months that wears off? And then you're going to have the other part, they're going to cycle into the group that don't have that protection anymore. So then they will probably get infected again and then have to create antibodies again. But it's not going to put so much pressure on SARS remix that it has to mutate very rapidly, because you always have a reservoir that's available for infection. It's the same methodology that they use with the flu. So that's why it's so interesting that the responses are so different, because the disease progression is so similar. So why are you treating them differently? And that's why the natural immunity is so important, because it cycles. And that's why you don't have people walking around with the flu all the time, because that immunity cycles. It comes into the community, all these people get infected. It's almost like I used to do with chickenpox. You get your immunity from it, you don't have to worry about getting it again. But that was what they used to do. They used to quarantine all the sick people together, let everybody get it, and then everybody else can go out into the community and everything's cool, right? Well, when you have these respiratory viruses that can mutate in this way and that have this, and you don't build a long-term sterilizing immunity towards it, you're going to have cycles where some people are sick, some people aren't sick. And that's just enough balance to where you're not putting so much pressure on the virus that it has to mutate more rapidly, but you can still have a functioning society without worrying about whether or not you're going to have your workforce, or you're going to have your population decimated by sickness or held back by sickness. So that's the methodology they should have been using from the jump, like trying to get everybody vacation, get people these vacation packages. That was a bad response to this from the jump, because we know that these respiratory viruses and the antibodies and the protection, they cycle, and that's what keeps the virulence low. That's what keeps these things from not getting more traits that make them more virulent, more pathogenic, and more transmissible.
You know, when they say it took off last year, what exactly does that mean? Did it take the year off, or did people just stop looking for it?
I think it was a combination of both, but
how does it take a year off?
So you don't have as many people out. So when you don't have as many people out, then that's how we build immunity, is going out and interacting with our surroundings. So if you're in the house all the time, you're not really coming into contact with any kind of foreign pathogens, anything like that, your body won't build an immunity to it. So, and again, like I said, the flu antibodies, they wane after a certain amount of time, just like you do with SARS remix. So when you don't come into contact with these strains and your immunity is gone, when you come back into contact with it, you're going to get infected again. Mm-hmm. So the combination of people being inside or not having normal human activity and normal normal traffic through certain areas, that does reduce the amount of sickness and the amount of pathogens that flow in an environment. And when you decrease that, you decrease the immunity to them. So it does make sense that if they said that if the flu's taking a year off, that it's going to come back harder next year because everybody's immunity is weighing towards it, versus having it circulate in the population and knowing that it circulates in the population, but just having disease mitigating measures in place so that the severity of whatever whatever the disease is, in this case it's the flu, it won't disrupt regular life functions, which that's what they're trying to do with SARS Remix now. They're trying to get people accustomed to the virus itself, because they know they can't shut down again. I told people this last year. I was like, look, this is what's going to happen. People don't realize that these economies are being held together by sticks and glue. All it takes is one strong wind, and a lot of this shit going to blow straight over. And that strong wind is putting people back inside. They know they can't do that. Mm-hmm. So if you know you can't put people back inside, what's the next logical thing to do? Make them unafraid of going outside. So that's why they're priming people to want to go back outside again. It's like, oh yeah, you know, if you're vacation, you'll be fine. We don't have any plans to lock down and all. Yeah, y'all don't have any plans to lock down because y'all can't afford to lock down, because you lock this bitch down again, it might not open back up. So they're very aware of this. So I mean, they primed a lot of this stuff last year, especially with the Flurona Williams. Yeah. But I mean, I still don't think, I mean, if you don't worry about the flu normally, there's no reason to worry about this either.
Yeah. Exactly. As we heard from the gentleman in this article, oops, sorry, wrong screen. Don't worry, we'll have a crew in no time running all of this out of the Hotep Nation studio coming soon. What is going on here? Where is it? Right here. Our buddy Alec Zerline said it felt like a mall cold. So he said it felt like. Shout out to him. Best of luck to him. Hungary has also identified at least 2 Flurona cases, Flurona Williams cases in recent weeks. And Brazil is battling an out-of-season flu outbreak. Now, that I think that sort of lends to what you were saying, right? Like, now we have abnormalities dealing with the flu, right?
Because people are inside, you're not, going out and doing as much stuff, your immunity is lower. Right. I mean, and that's why you're supposed to, be outside doing your thing,
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we have an out of season outbreak here. The more I think about it, the more I feel like it wasn't even about that. It was like, how do we create more chaos? And then I think they knew some of the organic things that would happen from their synthetic ideas, right? Yeah, I just feel like, it's funny because now they want to push everybody out, right? And go out. But at the same time, I remember last year people used to joke like, do you know anybody that got the SARS remix? You'd be like, nah, I don't know nobody got it. Now it's just like everybody
got it.
And they're like, hey, y'all, go outside. And it's like, wait, hold on. Like, everybody is sick right now. You sure it's okay, Dr. Fausti? Are you sure, sir?
Yo, and speaking of him now, so, like we said, the memes are coming true, right? So now they don't even want to use the terminology fully vaccinated anymore. They want to say up to date. Because what does up to date mean? Up to date means that it's something that you have to come in for consistently. And if you come in consistently, what that mean? More revenue for them pharma boys.
It means you got to punch your loyalty card.
Right. That's exactly what it means. Man. And see, people think that these subscription packages are new, and they're not, because all you got to do is look at your prescriptions and realize that the average American is on 3 to 5 different prescriptions already. They already primed for the subscription service because you get a prescription service already.
It's just going to be part of the package. It's going to come with your HBO.
Right. Vacation and chill. That's
Oh, you gotta laugh at this shit. This shit is just too wild. Anything else in this article? I think that was it. Oh, so here's a statement by Mr. I think this is Visionister. Says if you are vacationed, the disease is very mild. Okay, all right. I'm not gonna, just wanted to highlight that and let people look into that if they'd like to, and see how they feel about that. I'll refrain from. Okay, so here it says program. There you go. We back. All right.
Okay.
They, the redacted like to redact you like mid sentence.
You said their name a couple times. They on your ass now.
Exactly. Y'all see how the redacted did us, right? Anyway, so it says here fever, coughing, fatigue. Now this is the only thing I'll say. The fatigue from this thing is a bitch. It is a bitch. I done had it. I think I probably had the Megatron and the original SARS remix. Because I was hanging with the China people last year and I got sick last year. So that was January. Then I got sick this year in December, I think with the Megatron. Mm-hmm. And that fatigue is no joke. I remember getting off that airplane last year after CES, hanging around with all them Chinese people, and I sat down at the airport waiting for the baggage luggage, and I was just like, man, I'm just tired. And I just had to sit down. Usually I'm just like up, ready to go. Nah, that fatigue is something else. What is that from? I just feel like this is the part of me, right, that says that when they created this thing, it's also a spiritual virus, for lack of a better term. It's an etherical virus because it's zapping my life force. I feel like they did a seance over the vials when they cooked this thing up. What is it about this thing that just makes you so fatigued and just drains your energy?
Oh man, well, like anytime you have any kind of infection like that, especially that is, making it harder for you to breathe, making it harder for you to get that oxygen to your muscles, get the oxygen to the rest of your body, you're going to feel some kind of fatigue, especially because you're in a more hypoxic environment. So hypoxic means without oxygen. When you're in that kind of environment, your body uses different processes to generate energy. And sometimes those things can leave you feeling a little bit more fatigued than usual. Also, take into account that your body is depleting minerals, depleting nutrients, depleting resources to mount a response against this rapidly replicating thing inside your body. So that's going to bring a bit of fatigue along with it, especially if your stores of certain things are close to zero or anything like that. So the best way to combat that fatigue is to just, re-up on your nutrients, re-up on your minerals, just make sure you get some good rest. But yeah, the depletion from fighting things off. I mean, it's almost like a war of attrition, right? Where you have two opposing forces that are fighting each other for so long, they start to get tired, and the person or the force that manages to outlast that tiredness normally wins. But that doesn't mean that side didn't suffer any casualties, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's basically the same thing with your body trying to fight these things off. Your body outlasted it, but there are things that it still has to clean up because it outlasted it.
Dax Hill said, symptom list reads like a NyQuil bottle. Let's go on here. Runny nose. Okay, I had one of those before. Sore throat. I had one of those before. Diarrhea. Definitely had that problem before. Along with muscles and body aches. Both infections can be fatal, although the severity of each diagnosis depends largely on the individual's immune system. Health workers. I'm surprised they even said the term immune system. I thought they forgot we had one of those. Health workers, the elderly, and those with underlying health conditions are more at risk. Okay, yeah, we do that. And here's Jennifer Hassan. I always like to look at the individuals that write our content because these are real live people. Well, hopefully they're real live people or not.
Sometimes they're algorithms. Sometimes they're a bot.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, hi Tim. If y'all be arguing with motherfuckers on Twitter, you probably arguing with a bot.
You definitely
just to let you know.
At the very least, a burner account.
At the very least, a burner account, but you probably arguing with a bot.
I remember I had to show that to somebody once. Oh, I showed it to
Twitter. They don't believe you when you say that shit. They don't believe you when you say that. It's like, bro, and it's so easy to spot too because they use the same words.
Right. So I said something like, okay, identified a bot, and I said, watch this, and then the bot responded to me, and its response didn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I showed it live on Twitter just to show people, like, yo, like y'all be out here arguing with bots or burner accounts, right? So either a set of functions have been programmed into a machine to carry out and execute these things, or some individual with like 10 accounts is sitting back there trolling. Like literally, you could pop up programs like TweetDeck, and you can have an at column for every account you have, and I can sit here and just troll people from 10 different accounts at the same time. It's like nothing. So like some of y'all just arguing with like some little kid, just you know, or some fat man in, you know, Arkansas somewhere. You know, no disrespect to Arkansas, you know, but he's just like, you know, it's terrible. So that's why I tell people, like, if you're a Hotep, you got Hotep in your name. This is one thing at PSA, Public Service Announcement. If you have Hotep in your name, we don't argue with people online. We don't argue. All we do is teach, okay? That's all we do. We teach and we learn. We don't argue. We don't have time to argue. The conditions are so dire, we don't have time to argue. There's nothing to argue about.
At all. There's nothing to argue about.
If you want to argue, let's get paid to argue, and we can bring it to YouTube, and let's get paid to argue. If we're not doing that, you're wasting my time. Something's got to forward the mission. And a lot of y'all are wasting your time, and y'all arguing with body count. If you're going to argue, at least argue with somebody you know is actually that person, right? That's different, right? Like some of these pundits or something like that. All right, you got Don Lemon responding to you. Go in on his ass. For me. For me, okay? Now that's different, right? Somebody who's got some clout, right? Then yes, I'll allow it. But just random strangers? No. Stop it. And here's another thing I learned. Arguing with strangers online is going to prove how stupid you are.
Ooh, man, listen. Because mostly, what did we say last time? These folks cannot read, dog. These people cannot fucking read, man. So why are you arguing with them?
So my thing is this, right? Like I always tell people, if somebody can't explain something simply, they don't really know it, right? So there are a lot of things that we understand in this world, such as the nature of the topic we're talking about tonight, right? I would never try to argue with a stranger about the IHU because I'm just as stupid about it as he is, right? I might know a little bit more than you, but I'm still stupid. This is why I defer to the experts like Tanei. Just shut the fuck up and let the experts speak, right? Now that's different. But I would never argue with just some random stranger online. Chad Lemoyne said Omarion is straight. Bitch. I whooped his ass in 60 hours flat. Shout out to my mall, the vitamins, and my homeopathic doc in Africa. You heard what Chad just said? He just said he done beat that shit ass. That's a Hotep right there. But Hoteps, we don't argue with people online. We don't have time. I'm sorry. Let's go back to the so we have one more article to look at, right? And I don't have a subscription to this. You know, they you know, in order to read the what is this, the Wall Street Journal, you just got to be rich, right? I think. See, it says read the full story, sign in and subscribe, $4 a month. Wall Street Journal, y'all need the money so bad, y'all charge niggas $4 a month to read y'all shit. You might as well just get that shit out for free. What are y'all doing?
Down bad, man. Down bad.
What's going on at the Wall? First of all, it's the Wall Street Journal. I guess I get it. Right? You know, that is for rich folks.
They trying to get their little coins, man. I ain't mad at it.
This is what they do, right? They want to pay gate. They want to pay gate the knowledge that's going to make you wealthier because they cover Wall Street. That's what our financial system runs off of, right? Fucking Wall Street. Right? Those are people making the financial decisions. New York City. So the thing that covers it, they actually going to charge you for. That's some scumbag shit. I used to be subscribed to them when they had the newspaper. That shit used to be $20 a month, dog. But I wanted to be in the know. You know what?
You think the news is actually informing you of things that, you know, are important, but then.
But the Wall Street Journal, like, if you really wanted to be into that finance shit, you kind of got to read it. If you wanted to learn about finance, you kind of had to read it just to stay up to date on, you know, what's going on, regulations being passed, all that type of shit. Before the internet, we used to.
Before the internet,
You had to read that newspaper. I remember having a subscription. Them shit's charging me $20 for that shit. Now they charging $4. It's like, come on, man. Y'all should be over this shit already, man. You okay, baby? She like to watch me stream. I don't know what it is. She see the light on. She see me talking, and she just come and watch me. Damn, they done clipped our episode already. Somebody done, shout out to JSN Wakes. He got the Hotep Nation hat on. Go to my my Twitter account. He made a clip. Yo, please clip so we can share the clips. If you ever see an entertaining part of this show, just save the clip. All right, man. We ain't gonna read that last article, man. How long we been live, man? Damn, we've been live over an hour. Yeah, we good.
The only thing that's from that article that was important, though, is that basically they're saying that the fourth Pfizer dose makes your antibodies jump. Well, duh, it's supposed to. Oh,
yes. Body. Thank you. My bad. I did at least want to show the thank you.
No, you're good. But thank you. Like it's inducing a immune response. So, yeah, it should make your antibodies jump. Like, that's pretty common sense for what this vacation package does. Like, it's supposed to do that. So the real news here would have been if it didn't do that. Like, if you didn't get this next dose and it didn't give you any more antibodies, like that would be the more newsworthy thing. It's like, yeah, you keep getting jabbed by this thing. Yeah, you're going to keep getting antibodies towards it, but at what cost? And are the antibodies actually even going to be able to fight off the SARS remix that you have, or the Ninja Turtle variant of that SARS remix? Like, that's the problem. That's what they show them. But the fourth, and it's interesting, and I'll point this out on Twitter, and it's interesting that every time something pops up as far as SARS remix, you always hear Pfizer. It's almost like, so you know how back in the day when you used to make copies and stuff, people didn't say you were making a copy, they said you were making a Xerox, because the name Xerox cornered that market. And so they had everybody calling copies Xerox. Can you Xerox me that? Can you give me a Xerox of that?
Just like search now. It's like, you're not searching. It's like, can you Google that?
Exactly. So they done cornered the market of this particular title, or this particular topic. So you have to ask yourself why. Because I just saw another hit piece about, I ain't gonna say it's a hit piece because I didn't read it, but I saw the headline. I saw another headline about India not wanting to take Merck's new antiviral pill coming out because there were serious health concerns, right? But nobody has any health concerns about the new Pfizer pill that's supposed to be coming out. So the interesting thing about that is that, and anytime you see, some kind of campaigning for one specific entity, or you have this one entity that seems to have like a corner stranglehold on this market, you have to ask yourself why. The why here, and a lot of people don't know this, and this is the bane of American politics in general, and why I refuse to vote at this point in time. Pfizer was one of the largest pharmaceutical lobbyers in the past year. The article I read, and I could be wrong, but I know it was in the billions. I think it was like Pfizer basically put like $1.6 billion into lobbying into the US government. Now, everybody knows what lobbyists do. Well, I'm pretty sure everybody watch your channel know what lobbyists do. Lobbyists go to Washington to influence policy. So if you have somebody putting $1 billion investment into you, you're going to pretty much do everything they say, right?
Well, that's your daddy now.
Because you want to get a return on your investment, right?
Right.
So Pfizer has now sold over $4 billion in revenue of these vacation packages, right? And they used the government to do that. And they used the government to do that because of the investment that Pfizer made into the government.
They care about us. They care about our well-being.
So much. They care about us so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Pfizer. Thank you, American government. Thank you, Biden. For making $1 billion and caring about me.
So that's the thing I've been trying, like, I knew I knew it was a financial motivation at the beginning. Like it's always something with these companies. And I'm not even mad at it because at this point people keep going for it. So hey man, get your money. I'm not mad at it. But for the people that don't want to be human pincushions, you have to really like look at stuff like this and understand why certain names keep popping up. And these vacation packages, as much as there's scientific discrepancy, there's a ton of political discrepancy too. And that's the part that is not being talked about, and the part that I think a lot of people are avoiding on purpose, because it takes the spotlight off of how bad lobbying is for democracy in general. And it shows how your interest is controlled by your spending power, and how voting itself don't do shit unless you got some money behind it, which is why people that keep lining up to go to the voting polls every year are frustrated year after year because you don't put no money up. These other people do, and that's why they get their needs met. And that's why Pfizer is rolling in $4 billion in revenue right now, because they put their money up.
Wait till Hotep Nation put their money up. You know what we need, man? You know those politicians that promised us a whole bunch of things, never came good, have a reputation for never coming good. Next election, we should just vote for them again. And then the next election, we should just keep doing it. Or we should vote for the same people over and over again. That's exactly what we should do.
That's what people been doing. It's been working out for them, hasn't it? Because Orange Man ain't in office no more, right? So it's working out fine. We don't have Trump saying mean things on TV anymore, man. Everything's good. Like, we appreciate everybody that went out and voted for Joseph.
We should vote in the same Republican Senate
every year
that turned their back on Donald Trump just to own the left.
Oh man.
Just to own the left. Who cares that they turned their backs on our leaders? Who cares they turned our backs on us? Who cares that they turned their backs on those people?
We have a common enemy now, damn it.
Voting worked if people worked together.
And voting works when people aren't stupid, but we know that the majority of people can't read above the 8th grade level. So when you have that many people going to vote that can barely read a ballot, you're gonna have some problems. And this, so what we see right now.
So that's the problem, right? Because there's no togetherness and there's so much individuality out here. It's every man for himself, right? And that's part of the American. That was sewn into the American quilt, the fabric of America. That everybody's like individuals, just about me. So you can't organize to vote anybody in there. So the only thing you can do to try to influence somebody who is an individual is to propagandize. And when you can't organize, you have to propagandize. You can't organize with another group whose help that you need. You have to propagandize them. You have to convince them. You have to convince them that, hey, you should work with me. You should follow the same agenda in some cases, right? So with the lack of organization, what you get is you get the same politicians. Now, what you could do is you could grab, Jamal the janitor, or Tom the landscaper, right? And you could make him mayor of your town, like overnight, right? You just have to organize enough people to do so, right? You could do the same thing with governor. You could do the same thing with Senate. I have a strategy plan put together for the Libertarian Party. I'm not going to say it here because, well, I want them to pay for it. I am a capitalist. So
I feel that.
That's how I feel. I feel like people keep making the same mistakes over and over again. It's like, what senator did you vote for? What senator? No, we need to be, here's the thing. we follow the left, but we don't follow the leader. So, for example, it's like this. Let's say you got your battalion and I got my battalion, right? And we're at war. And my soldiers is sniffing up your ass all the time, worrying about what the fuck you doing. But we not worried about what our leaders is doing. Meanwhile, our leaders is selling us out maybe to y'all. You see what I'm saying? Because we don't got an eye on our leaders. We worried about everybody else's leaders. Mm-hmm. But if you keep an eye on your side of the block and keep them in check, then you might actually get something out of the Republican Party, out of the GOP. You're so worried about what the Democrats are doing. No, worry about your delegates, the people you delegated. Get their asses in shape. If they're not in shape, replace them. Replace them with Joe the janitor. Replace them ASAP. Jim the junk man. Gary the garbage man. Replace him with somebody who's a blue collar worker. I'm telling you, do not replace him with a white collar worker. Don't do it. Replace him with a blue collar worker, because the way blue collar workers think, completely different way to white collar. Mm-hmm. White collar, and I'm a white collar worker. Okay, I've never been a blue collar worker. Okay,
see, I've been on both sides. A lot of people don't know that about me. I've been on both sides. I've been on the blue collar side and on the white collar side.
Well, I can't say I've never been blue collar. That would be a lie. I take that back. That's definitely a blatant lie.
Fact check.
You're absolutely right. My bad. Okay, I'm getting a little big on myself too. I ain't never been a blue collar worker.
Hey, I know I have, man. Hey, I'm from the South, man. I know what time it is. So,
but get you a blue collar worker, because he's gonna think practically. Blue collar workers think practically. They don't think about all these Ponzi schemes and shit and how to get over and all of that. Nah, they think practically. And usually these are honest people. You know,
easier to hold accountable. Easier to hold accountable.
Down to earth. He probably smoke herb, maybe a couple of cigarettes a day. He definitely drinking beer, so he cool. You know. It's a lot of y'all supporting politicians whose sons do crack. Anyway, Cannon Hotep says, straight fire, everyone like and share this. Appreciate you, homie. But we have to do better with the organization. You know, I always think about life owned by private corporations, and I think about a lot of that's going to be corporations that are organizations, and a lot of problems that the government solve will be solved by corporations. And so I think today is like, if there's an organization, we need an organization to track that organization. If the establishment got an organization, we need an organization to watch that organization. And once that organization gets taken over by the establishment, we need another organization to watch both of those organizations.
You need eyes everywhere.
Need eyes, ears everywhere. If they got an intelligence arm, the people need an intelligence arm. Okay? Like, this is how we need to start operating. This is the dream for Hotep Nation. And it's not to topple anybody else's nation. It's not to, no, this is for defense, right? This is part of our defense budget. You see how they always call war like shit defense?
Because it sounds less egregious. It sounds way less egregious. We say, oh yeah, it's just a defense budget. We just defending ourselves. Meanwhile, you blowing up kids for fucking oil deposits and shit. Like, fuck out of here, dog. Oh, I can't. Can I say that? I can say that, right? That's cool.
I don't think you was allowed to say that.
Damn. Well, that's what get us clipped. At least it wasn't because no SARS remix shit. So,
but you know that's where I'm at with it, man. You know, and I'm speaking to the white community. I'm speaking to the black community. I'm speaking to all Americans. You know, I was watching it was either Soul or Walter Williams, and he was just running down like the rates at which people were rich in certain areas and how much they participate in the politics. He's like, you know, the Asian community, they got more money than all. This is not how he said it, but he's like, they got more money than all these motherfuckers, and these niggas don't vote.
I point that shit out all the time. Like, bro, look at these communities that actually have resources. They don't give a fuck about voting, because all they know, all I gotta do is slide you some stacks in the brown paper bag, and it's like, listen, I'm gonna need you to do this, and I promise you within a week it's done. I promise you. They don't give a damn about who's voting, because they know what talks money. They know that their resources is what protect them. Somehow everybody else don't know that.
Life is nothing more than an agglomeration of cartels.
Facts.
Believe that. Believe that. That's what I need everybody to know. So you need to ask yourself, what cartel do you belong to? Now, you might want to get on the Hotep Nation cartel. You know what I'm saying? Because we're organizing. We're starting with homeschooling, very small. You can donate at hotepnation.com/donate. But that's where we're starting. We're starting very small and focused. Grifties is coming up.
Oh, man. The Grifties, we back.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We film next week.
Bet.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be exciting. They didn't rip this off. All the social media outlets, the powers, the establishment cats, they all didn't rip this off.
Can't never have nothing.
No. Not this year, but next year it's gonna be an amazing Grifties. I'm already planning next year's Grifties. Amazing. We might actually have 2 of them. I'm not going to tell it because if I tell it here, they're going to do it next year and they're going to beat me too. So I can't even tell. I'll tell you offline what I got planned, but it's.
Yeah, you good. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for coming on. Oh, baby.
She don't want me to leave. I understand that. I totally get that.
Tanei, yo, I appreciate you for coming on the platform and translating some of these complicated scientific terms for my ignorant ass.
Yeah, man, appreciate you, man. Y'all always show me love, man. Hotep and Bill, love Hotep Nation, love everything that got to do with Hotep, man. We out here and y'all fighting a good fight. I'm gonna keep fighting with y'all.
Sergeant Hoddle said, "Has the doctor heard about the mass formation hypnosis theory?" You hear about that?
Man. Yeah, I heard about the mass formation psychosis, but all it is it's just a different word for collective experience. And like I've talked about collective experience with other people before, where we're all connected, right? So when you have ideas that flow through a certain part of the population, if you have enough people believe those ideas, they become fact. And the people that operate in those communities operate based on those facts. So mass formation psychosis is just collective identity. It's just a fancy word for collective identity and how collective identity can shift how we think about things and how we do things. For example, the Gregorian calendar. Why is it that certain parts of the world operate under the Gregorian calendar, but other parts of the world operate under a different calendar? Well, you can't tell the people that operate under the Gregorian calendar that it's wrong because the collective identity believes it and they agree with it, even though there are other civilizations and other cultures that have a distinctly different time clock. So who's right? The group that believes strongly in what their time scale is. That's who's right. And so that's where the collective identity and the collective ideology comes from. Like that's all it is people thinking the same thing on the same page. The only thing that's different is this is being manipulated. And this mass formation psychosis is just a manipulation of collective identity.
Yeah. And the Gregorian calendar is just so messed up.
Man.
I mean, like it lets you know somebody messed up somewhere. It's like, oh wait, hold on. We got a leap year. And, so we're going to have to do an extra day in February every 4 years. And it's like, no, you mess up the calculation somewhere. You know what you do? You make it simple. Okay, people, this is very simple. You create a calendar based upon the moon. Then everything has 28 days. And then you got your 13 months. Stop trying to turn it into 12. See, that's that Masonic.
Man. You just gonna go somewhere. Don't do that. Don't do that.
My bad. I was talking about buildings. Building things with our hands. Blue collar work.
You was gonna say something. Don't do that. But yeah, mass formation psychosis, man, all this is just manipulated collective identity. Like when you have a lot of people that believe the same thing, it becomes fact at some point. And it doesn't matter if it's an actual factual fact. If you get enough people to believe it, then it becomes true.
Yeah. This what I be telling people. That's what I be telling people. I'm like, be careful what you believe. Be careful what you repeat. Right? Like for example, I might go out with some people and everybody masked up. They say, yo, put your mask on. I'm like, no, because they about to create that collective experience where that is now our new normal. No, somebody has to say, nah, I ain't doing it. Mm-hmm. And I walk up in the spot, it say right there on the thing, please wear a mask inside. All right, no doubt. I walk in, nobody say nothing because they know the game. Right? They just putting that up there as a formality. And that's part of the collective experience for a different group, right? So a different group goes, all right, we will. You didn't have to put that sign up there, but you did because it's part of our experience. Even though you don't even believe in it, you're not going to enforce it. You still put that up there because it's part of. This is how you get locked into this thing called a social contract. You know, going back to that great book by Rousseau, well, great in many different ways and not so great in others, but we have a social contract and it's creating that mass collective experience you're talking about, man.
And see, you know, mass people only talk about mass formation psychosis with COVID, but mass formation psychosis happens with anything, any kind of strongly held belief. And they've created this strongly held belief about COVID about these vacations and, you know, about SARS remix amongst the population. But you can look at that in other things, sports, religion, politics. You have mass formation psychosis in all of those because everybody acts, those are the things you can't talk about, right? Because people have such a rapid response. It's the same thing. Again, this is but these are people that collectively identify with the same ideas. So mass formation psychosis is just collective identity. And it's seen in many different arenas. It's not just with the pandemic. It just became a buzzword because, you know, Dr. Malone said that, and I'm not even mad at him saying that. I mean, it is a term, and I'm glad that people are starting to understand that, but it goes deeper than just SARS remix. It bleeds over to a lot of other facets in society. It's not just limited to this. There's a lot of other arenas that this mass formation psychosis is a part of, but all it is collective identity.
And collective identity is not inherently inherently evil.
Exactly. It's not. There's nothing wrong with it.
It could be good. It's part of our survival mechanism.
Exactly.
But, you know, for example, if it's 10 niggas walking down the street and one of them start running, what the rest of them gonna do?
Run.
You gonna run.
You gotta ask the question. Like, why?
I asked once y'all slow down.
Right. Let's get to where we going and then we can start asking some questions.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to.
Because you're not just going to run for no reason. Like, there's obviously some imminent danger that's around because you're running. Like, hell, let me run too. Let me take the guessing out of this.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's part of our survival mechanism, but it's being abused, you know, and they're using it, like you said, in many different ways. And I've identified this psychosis on social media, for example. Favorite sports team in the bio.
Man, listen. Pronouns in the bio.
Pronouns in the bio.
That might get me canceled, but it'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
People knew how bad I wanted to get off Twitter, man.
The pronouns in the bio is that like it's the same thing. Anyway, I was gonna try and break it down, but you can't break down stupid shit. That's my motto. You don't break down stupid shit.
Right.
The other one is white man with the BLM in his bio. I don't want you to put BLM in a bio. I want you to put some money in my pocket.
Bro, listen. I need some ducats for the collection plate. What you talking about? I don't give a damn about no hashtag.
That's all we need. Donate to the homeschooling program. That's all I need from you. You ain't got to put BLM in your bio. You put BLM in your bio, you basically wanting the destruction of my people.
Facts.
And don't even know it.
Facts.
How you gonna have a black movement run by white women?
How you gonna have a black movement that excludes the black man? Oh, man.
So, you know, this is part of that psychosis, right? Where people find things to identify with and they place them in their bio. And it's like, this is your bio. This is about you. You sat down at Twitter and you put all these things that have nothing to do with who you are inside on your bio to describe yourself. You've described yourself with external sources. You didn't describe yourself with the inner source. What is the inner source? That's what you want to describe yourself. What is your inner source? If you don't know it, get the fuck off the internet. Stick to YouTube and Google. Don't come to social media. Don't tweet. Don't read nothing about no politics. You need to get your life together. You need to think about you. If you follow anybody, follow some self-help gurus, some fitness gurus, whatever. Just follow you some gurus and get you some positive brain programming, and then come back and know.
Make sure they're not cooks. I'm sorry, I had to say that. I had to get that out. I had to get it out.
Make sure your guru's not a cook. Absolutely. You want to vet your gurus real good, okay? but you need to work on you. If you're identifying yourself by, your favorite rapper or your favorite team or, your favorite brand, that's just not it. It's either Hotep or nothing. That's your new identity, Hotep. Everybody. I'm brainwashing you. You're now Hotep. But at the very least, if you're going to have a mass psychosis, have a massive Hotep mass psychosis. Right? Or find something healthy. Not favorite football team and all these things that are killing us. Find some group, some cause to be a part of that's making Earth better, and be a part of the good side of the mass psychosis. Wow. Wonderful conversation. I love these builds, man. These builds are great.
Yes, sir. Yeah, everybody thought we was just gonna be talking about Flurona Williams, but we touched on a lot of stuff today.
Yeah, we touched on, especially that part about simulation theory. You had a bar. Somebody tweeted it out. And people, you got homework to do. Find the best clips from here. Share it with us. Put the timestamp. If you're watching this back, put the timestamp where something funny happened. And then from the timestamps, we could pull clips. Let's just crowdsource this thing to get some of the best content and get more people on the channel. Hit the subscribe button if you have not done so already. What's today? Today's Wednesday. So that means I have chess at 8 on the Hotep Chess channel. That's for 1 hour, and then we do an hour offline with the group. But we'll stream live the first hour, which is today's Wednesday, so we're going over Google's AlphaZero chess engine. And then tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern time, the relationship show with Wendy O. Wendy O, we're going to be talking relationships and situation. So make sure y'all subscribe and tune in for all the future content. Tonight, you got anything to plug, man?
No, man, no plugs. Scientific newsletter coming out soon. Still working out the particulars on that. But yeah, I am gonna have a subscription service for people that can get this information. Over the past, I'll probably say 2 years of talking about things with the pandemic. Just been predicting a lot of stuff, and I know that there's definitely a hole for people that want that scientific literacy. And even for the people that don't have the time to commit to learning a whole new language, I do want to put a resource out there for people that they can get, unbiased information. They can have the stuff broken down for them. A lot of people respond well to my tweets and my threads and some of my emails and stuff. So I'm coming out with a subscription service for that. We're going to break down some stuff in the scientific industries, come through with, some knowledge that get you ahead of the curve as far as things that could be coming out, supply chain issues, restocking issues, things that are happening in the scientific world that are relevant in your practical life. So yeah, that's coming out soon. I plan on launching that within the next couple of weeks. But other than that, man, Hotep and Bill, and that's all we got.
That's powerful right there. If Wall Street Journal can get their $4, why can't Tanei?
Especially for something that is actually useful. And I don't even want to sway you one way or the other. I just want to give you the information so that you can make the best decision possible, because I believe that that's basically what it is at the end of the day. I'm not here to try to push people one way or the other. I just want you to have the information that you need to make the best decision that you can, because we make so many decisions without proper context and then wonder why bad shit happens on the back end. And it's like you made this decision, but you didn't know all of the other things that could happen. Right. And at least having the scientific aspect of it, knowing that you're not going to be able to trust these companies out here right now, having somebody that doesn't really have a financial interest in getting you to do something. I just have interest in you getting that information, but my time does cost. So
yeah, but I mean, you're right though. This is better because, well, they were telling us one thing, but a year beforehand, you told us what they told us a year and a half later, right? So why wouldn't I pay for a subscription service from somebody who's a year ahead of the mainstream media? Come on. Like, so get your shekels. When his subscription plan, follow him on Twitter, there's link below. When his subscription plan comes out, we're going to bring him back on the platform. We're going to push that heavy. We're going to get 100 people to sign up for that. So they get they bring, right? What's the fee on that monthly newsletter? What do you think? Like maybe $900 a month? Or
no, definitely not 900, man. I'm not gonna beat people up like that, man. I mean, it'll be reasonable for the person that really wants to, that's really serious about it. I mean, I pretty much price my stuff at a price point where I want you investing that time and money into something, you gonna actually sit down and do it. Like, people don't understand that, like, cost is a qualifier. And if you can't pay a certain cost, that means you ain't supposed to be there. That means you're supposed to get your money up until you can get there. So when you do get there, you're going to appreciate it more because you know what it took to get there. So that's what it's going to be priced at. But I don't think it's going to be anything over $100. I do have my old email list. So everybody that stuck with me on my old email list, I'm going to be emailing y'all first to give y'all a specific introductory price. It's going to be much lower than what everybody else has, because I just appreciate y'all rocking with me for so long. So, but yeah, that'll be awesome.
That's dope. So make sure y'all subscribe when that comes out. Chad Lemoyne said the Senate passed the Patriot Act 98 to 1 and the House 357 to 66. They convinced everyone it was in their best interest to lose their rights. Oh my Lord. 98 to 1?
Bars.
Who was the one? Before we go, who was the one? Right? And this is what I be talking about. What you do is you find that one, right? And you go, where are the rest of the people in the world like him? What are they saying? If the people ain't talking like him, if they don't look like him, if they don't mirror this individual that was the one, then we don't want them. You get a bunch of people that mirror him. And I'm not saying artificial, like organic, like, oh, I know somebody like him. Then we take these individuals and that's who we run for Senate. And then we take back our government. Then we could do what we want. Ron Paul, right? I was going to say Ron Paul. That would have been my guess. I just wanted to verify it though. If anybody has the official. But I think it was Ron Paul. Yeah, the chat saying Ron Paul. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure. Because if it wasn't Ron Paul, and he did, Ron, we know where you are. One was nay and one was refused to vote. It was Rand Paul. Okay, Rand Paul. Okay, right. Russ Feingold. Nah, I don't know about that one. Feingold was the nay. Wow. Okay. Yup, the chat's coming in now. I was wrong. Russ Feingold was the nay. Quick search showed it. Thank you for the search. You know, I got to get y'all work to do too, man. I ain't gonna be the only one over here. Wisconsin, Democrat out of Wisconsin. So where was Ron? Where was the Pauls at? Oh man. And then Landrew, Democrat out of LA, didn't vote. Yeah, he you need a couple of people like him too. I don't particularly like those fence sitters, but they're better than the other guys. Because at least, see, what happens is once we become, majority of these Russ Feingold minds, then those people that play the middle will come to our side because they're just waiting for somebody to take power. You know what I mean? They're just like, I'm going to go with whatever's popular. And if it's not popular, then I'm going to just stay in the middle so none of y'all kill me. You know what I mean? So nobody's mad at me. He said Ron Paul voted no, but he wasn't in the Senate. He was in the House. Oh, okay. He was in the House. Got you. Okay, that makes sense. And that was the reason why I didn't want to answer the question in the beginning, because I'm like, was Ron Paul a senator then? That's what I wasn't too sure about. Fence riders. Anyway, man, thank you guys for hanging in there, watching this stream. I'm Hotep Jesus and Viva Wakanda. It's like, nah, Hotep and Bill, y'all. I'm out of here.